Cambodian cybercrime industry run by Chinese criminals could be generating up to 38% of its GDP. New York Times exposé from last week heard Thailand's Deputy National Police Chief General Surachate Hakparn tell of questioning the former Cambodian police chief Neth Savoeun, who on August 22 last became a deputy prime minister in the new government of Prime Minister Hun Manet, the son and heir of Cambodian strongman and virtual dictator Hun Sen, who has been in power for over 4 decades. Thailand's top cop General Surachate Hakparn last week explained how he questioned the Cambodian police and former Cambodian police chief Neth Savoeun, now a deputy prime minister in the regime of Hun Manet, over a police operation in April 2022 when a Thai task force targeted 3,000 Thai people held hostage by scammer gangs in Cambodia. The news comes as a U.S. non-governmental organization, NGO, official estimates that the online cybercrime industry run by Chinese organized crime gangs in the country may be generating as much as 37.64% of Cambodia's projected GDP for 2023, while the U.S. State Department believes that there are at least 10,000 foreigners held in bondage behind the Eastern Kingdom's borders. A United Nations report last Tuesday authored by an official working at the body's Bangkok regional headquarters suggests that figure could be as high as 100,000, with an even greater number of people enslaved in the country's troubled western neighbor, Myanmar. Cambodia is home to thousands of call centers being operated primarily by Chinese organized crime rackets, many of them linked to a senior advisor to the newly installed Prime Minister Hun Manet, Senator Leong Phat, Center, whose vast business empire appears to own properties in which these activities are taking place. The situation in Cambodia and the wider problem in Southeast Asia was highlighted last week in a New York Times exposé and a UN report authored by an official based at its regional headquarters in Bangkok and introduced last Tuesday by UN Commissioner for Human Rights Volker Turk in Geneva. The situation was underscored in the minds of the public in Thailand last week when a 43-year-old man murdered his family, which had fallen victim to a Cambodian cybercrime operation based in Poi Pat near Thailand's Sakeo province, prompting an investigation led by Deputy National Police Chief Surachate Hakparn, who was quoted by the US-based newspaper last Tuesday as skeptical of former Cambodian police chief, now Deputy Prime Minister Neth Savoeun, left, and operations led by Cambodian police to counter the problem. Just 24 hours after a tragedy was reported in Samut Prakan province just outside Bangkok on Monday 28 August when 43-year-old Sanak Dokmai murdered his family, triggered by a 1.7 million loss to an online scam loan application in Cambodia, the United Nations Human Rights Office in Geneva launched a report claiming that hundreds of thousands of people are being forced to work in call center gangs located in both Myanmar and Cambodia, with workers held in bondage also in adjacent countries such as Laos, the Philippines and Thailand. The report was launched by UN Commissioner for Human Rights Volker Turk, an Austrian international law expert who called for tougher action from countries around the world to address the problem. UN Commissioner Volker Turk pleads that those coerced by gangs to operate online fraud scams be treated as victims and not held criminally responsible. Mr. Turk, specifically, pleaded with enforcement authorities to treat those involved as victims of crime rather than criminals. He said such individuals were subject to inhumane treatment while being forced to carry out crimes. The report last week was authored by Ms. Pia Oberoi, an Oxford University-educated senior advisor on migration and human rights attached to the Asia-Pacific regional headquarters of the United Nations Human Rights Office in Bangkok. Ms. Pia addressed the apparent impunity with which such operations are carried out in countries on Thailand's borders and also the sheer scale of the problem, which has meant that in troubled countries such as Cambodia, where GDP is retarded through lack of development and corruption, such enterprises become a significant part of these countries' GDP or economic output. It's so incredibly lucrative that there is very little political will to address this holistically, really slowing it down, other than the actors relocating their operations when there is some law enforcement pressure, Ms. Pia wrote. United Nations report author working at Bangkok regional headquarters questions the impunity enjoyed by criminal networks in Cambodia and Myanmar. She added that she thought that the operators of such enterprises were being protected in certain ways by the authorities. The report by the United Nations estimated that there were 100,000 such trafficked people involved with the cybercrime centers being operated in Cambodia, while a further 120,000 were forced to work in war-torn Myanmar, while tens of thousands were employed by the industry in Laos, the Philippines and Thailand. The report was published by the United Nations in Geneva on Tuesday the 29th of August and specified the pursuit of cybercrime activity ranging from romance investment scams, originally controlled exclusively by Nigerian gangs, to cryptocurrency fraud and the growing business of illegal online gambling, which is a particularly potent threat to the public in Thailand. Threat of cybercrime scams hit home in the early hours of August 28 in Samut Prakan when a man slaughtered his wife and children in a frenzied attack. The threat of cybercrime activity was brought home to the public 24 hours before the report was published when police in Samut Prakan raided a home just after midnight on Monday 28 August to find a man, a responsible and hard-working logistics manager, in a frenzy caused by stress and trauma, had murdered his dutiful 45-year-old wife and two school-going children in response to acute stress caused by a tragic situation that had developed within the household. His wife tried to remedy the problem that arose after her husband became a guarantor for an auto loan taken out by 43-year-old Mr. Senik Dokmai's employer, which was subsequently not repaid. On the 25th of August, Mr. Senik's wife, Wairafan, reported to Bangkok police station in Samut Prakan that she had become the victim of an online scam posing as a loan service. Investigators responding to the disturbing crime on Monday morning 28 August quickly established that Ms. Wairafan had borrowed $1.7 million from close friends and relatives to wire to the online loan application service to generate online financing to pay off the outstanding car loan, which had already led to advanced legal proceedings from Thailand's Legal Execution Department, which would have seen the family's three-story townhouse seized by the government and sold at auction. Stories struck a chord with the Thai public last week, leading to the mobilization of a police response. Instead, she had lost all the newly borrowed money originating from short-term facilities extended by close friends, thus exacerbating the family's already perilous financial position and throwing her husband into a state of trauma. The story generated shock and revulsion in equal measure early last week among the Thai public, prompting action from Deputy National Police Chief General Surachate Hakparn, who immediately took control of the case. Massive police response to the case of a family murdered by father after $1.7 million scam loss last week. Thai and Cambodian police revealed that young woman's organ harvesting claims were a lie. It was not long before investigators found that the money had been transferred via a series of bank accounts before being withdrawn by a 19-year-old Thai woman in Sakaya province and transferred across the border from Thailand to Cambodia to the town of Poipet, which appeared to be the headquarters of the cybercrime operation which had defrauded the family, sparking the murderous rampage. A report of physical abuse being suffered by a trafficked migrant related to a Filipino national identified as Mr. Nathan, who was promised a job as a customer service representative working in Thailand. The Filipino man was eventually transported to a compound near the Cambodian-Thai border, which was surrounded by barbed wire and high walls. On his first day at work in the compound, he was told that instead of working as a customer service representative, he would be working as an online romance scammer targeting British and American online users seeking love on dating websites and applications such as Tinder. In this instance, Mr. Nathan was beaten by his employers when he demanded to be freed from his contract and allowed to return to Manila. It is understood that reporters for the New York Times traveled to the compound identified by Mr. Nathan to find that it belonged to Senator Lee Yong-fat, a fact which was communicated to the reporters by local officials. Mr. Nathan showed photographs of the injuries he suffered after being beaten by 6 men with baseball bats and metal pipes after asking to be allowed to return home. Mysteriously, his captors, within days, relented to his request and allowed him to leave. General Surachate says he confronted Cambodia's former police chief and now deputy prime minister in 2022 over Thai rescue mission in Sinakville. Meanwhile, General Surachate in last week's news report claimed that the efforts of the Cambodian police, often in response to requests for cooperation from Thai police, were found lacking in 2022, with no effort to track down and arrest the big fish involved in these online scam operations. General Surachate heads up a task force within the Royal Thai Police which is involved in combating human trafficking both inside and outside Thailand in conjunction with international police agencies across the world, particularly in the United States and China. Neth Savoeun was Cambodia's national police chief from 2008 until Tuesday, August 22 last, when he was appointed a deputy prime minister under new Cambodian Prime Minister Hun Manet, the son of Cambodia's strongman Hun Sen, who has wielded power in Cambodia for over 4 decades and, it is thought, continues to do so. The former police boss played a key role while in office in cracking down on political dissent within the kingdom, which now, for all intents and purposes, has become a one-party state and dictatorship ruled by a single family. In the New York Times report last week, General Surachate Hakparn suggested the former Cambodian police chief refused to answer his questions after he believed last year's police operation, which was the brainchild of the Royal Thai Police Task Force, had been undermined. Thai captives moved after tip-off. General Surachate recalled targeting a hotel in the resort city of Sinakville, which is a prime target for Chinese investors and lately has become a hive of activities for such cybercrime mills. The senior police officer explained that he believed Thai captives were being held on the 7th, 8th and 9th floors of a hotel building in the city. The Thai policeman said as he was on the move towards the hotel with the assistance of Cambodian police, he received a tip-off to say that the Thai hostages or workers had been moved out. The Thai deputy police chief, known affectionately in Thailand as Big Joke, says he confronted the Cambodian police chief over this but was unable to get a satisfactory answer. He deflected, saying the hotel owner didn't cooperate, Police General Surachate explained. Awaiting answers over last week's outrage. In the meantime, Thais still wait to hear answers about those ultimately behind the fake loan application service which triggered the murder of a wife and her 2 sons last Monday morning in Samut Prakan. The kingdom's police authorities are relying on a campaign launched in July by outgoing National Police Chief General Damrongsak Kittiprappas to better inform the public in Thailand so that online users are more aware and familiar with such threats as the best possible protection. Figures released by the police chief in July showed that between March 1, 2022 and June 30, 2023 there were no less than 287,122 criminal cases linked to cybercrime activity in Thailand, resulting in a loss of up to 40 billion. However, those who are in the most danger from these online cybercrime centers which spread evil and suffering are, perversely, those who most need to work and earn money, while at the other end of the applications, those seeking loans and a way to pay bills or debts are also those most susceptible to the evil which presented itself from across Thailand's border on the days and hours running up to August 25 when a responsible mother tried to help her family out of one debt trap only to be landed in a nightmarish crisis which led to her murder and that of her young sons just 3 days later.